Excellency, Mr. Sheikh Bahadur, Prime Minister of Nepal, Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Minister, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to today's ceremony. We shall begin by witnessing the joint inauguration of projects. First is the launch and operationalization of the 35-kilometer long cross-border rail link from Jayanagar in Bihar to Kurtha in Nepal. I request both the Prime Ministers to jointly unveil the e-plaque for the project by pressing the launch button. Now, a video depicting the salient features of the project will be played.
India and Nepal enjoy a long-standing relationship which is rooted in its people-to-people connectivity, leading to shared growth of the two countries. This has been further strengthened under the visionary leadership of Prime Minister Modi, taking our bilateral ties to the next level, including construction of Motihari and Lake Ganj pipeline, integrated checkposts at Biratnagar and Birganj, road infrastructure, post-earthquake reconstruction projects, and many more initiatives. This time, it is getting even more stronger with the inauguration of cross-border passenger rail services between Jayanagar in India and Kurtha in Nepal. This rail line will connect Nepal with all major cities of India through railway via Jayanagar in India. This is the first cross-border broad-gauge rail project between India and Nepal and the first passenger rail service between the two countries since passenger rail services halted in 2014 for upgradation of rail infrastructure. The key highlight of this integrated rail infrastructure project is to convert the old narrow gauge railway track to broad gauge and further extend it to Badibas in Nepal. The project is being built under Government of India grant assistance of 876.8 crore Nepalese rupees and is being designed, planned and executed by Aircon International Limited. The operationalization of the passenger rail services on the section are being undertaken by Nepal Railway Company, with the demo set procured by Nepali side through an arrangement with Konkan Railway Corporation Limited. The rail section connects the historic city of Janakpur in Nepal with sweet heartwarming Maithili tradition of Madhubani in India and will further boost people-to-people linkages, which is the core of the India-Nepal relationship. This rail project stands as a perfect example of bilateral partnership and cooperation between India and Nepal as part of Neighborhood First policy envisioned by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi.
Now, I request both the Prime Ministers to flag off the inaugural run of the cross-border passenger train service. Next, we have the inauguration of the 90-kilometer long 132 kV Sonu corridor transmission line built with the Indian line of credit at a cost of rupees 200 crores. I request both the Prime Ministers to jointly unveil the e-plaque for the project by pressing the launch button.
Nepal share a unique and age-old relationship of friendship and cooperation. The strength of bilateral cooperation is also visible in the power sector, where India and Nepal are working on several aspects, such as development of generation projects, power transmission infrastructure, and power trade. Today, India and Nepal are marking yet another milestone in this field through inauguration of the Solu Corridor project. Solu Corridor is a 90-kilometer long, 132 kilovolt double-circuit power transmission line and substation project. It is implemented by Nepal Electricity Authority and financed by India's line of credit extended through the Exim Bank of India. The Solu Corridor connects relatively remote Solukhumbu, Khotang and Okhotdunga districts of Nepal with the national electricity grid. It will evacuate electricity from hydro projects in these areas into the national grid and also supply the rural electrification networks. As one of Nepal's iconic infrastructure projects, Solu Corridor is yet another symbol of India's commitment to the development partnership with Nepal as part of the Neighborhood First policy.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I now request both the Prime Ministers to jointly launch the RuPay card in Nepal by pressing the launch button.
India and Nepal share unique ties of friendship and cooperation characterized by an open border and deep-rooted people-to-people contacts. RuPay, the first global card payment network from India, has financially empowered more than 70 crore Indians from all sections of the society. Through its affordability, convenience of use and wide acceptance, RuPay has already become a global brand under the leadership of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. The Nepal SBI Bank, with support from Nepal Rashtra Bank, is now making RuPay cards functional on all Nepal SBI points of sale machines in Nepal. 1400 such machines are present in major locations across Nepal, including iconic sites such as Pashupatinath, Lumbini, Janakpur, Manakamna, etc. The launch of RuPay in Nepal would be a milestone in bilateral and regional financial connectivity. It will facilitate tourism into Nepal, bring in foreign exchange and strengthen people-to-people linkages. It will also make travelling easier for Indian tourists and pilgrims. RuPay launch in Nepal is yet another symbol of the priority attached by India to the development of India's neighbourhood, captured under India's Neighbourhood First policy.
Coming up next, we will witness a video clip on the progress in construction of 132 health facilities in Nepal, undertaken with a $50 million in post-earth reconstruction grant assistance.
The Gorkha earthquake of 2015 in Nepal impacted lives of millions of people and caused a wide-scale damage to property and public infrastructures. To supplement the efforts of Government of Nepal in the post-earthquake reconstruction, Government of India committed $1 billion comprising of $250 million as grant for housing, heritage, education and health sectors and $750 million as line of credit. Under the health sector grant of $50 million, 132 health facilities are being undertaken in 10 earthquake-affected districts of Nepal. The likely completion time of all health facilities is by December 2023. The district hospital at Gunni is the biggest hospital project to be built under the present grant. Once completed, these earthquake resilient structures will provide access to quality healthcare services in safe environment to millions of people, including those living in the remotest locations in Nepal, besides creating employment opportunities for thousands of medical professionals. These healthcare sector reconstruction projects will emerge as another landmark in the India-Nepal cooperation and development partnership.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we have the exchange of 4 documents signed between India and Nepal. For the first, I request Mr. Devendra Karki, the Energy Secretary of Nepal, to hand over the signed copy of the framework agreement of the International Solar Alliance to Dr. Ajay Mathur, Director General of the International Solar Alliance, the ISA. We welcome Nepal's entry into the International Solar Alliance. The second is the exchange of MOUs on enhancing technical cooperation in the railway sector between Mr. Rabindranath Shrestha, Secretary, Ministry of Physical Infrastructure and Transport from the Government of Nepal, and Shri V.K. Tripathi, Chairman, Indian Railway Board. Third is the exchange of agreement on supply of petroleum products between Shri Shrikant Madhav Vaidya, Chairman, Indian Oil Corporation Limited, IOCL, and Dr. Ganesh Prasad Pandey, Chairman, Nepal Oil Corporation, NOC. The fourth is the exchange of agreement for sharing of technical expertise also between the IOCL and the NOC. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the project inauguration and the exchange of agreements ceremony. I now request the spokesperson of the Ministry of External Affairs to conduct the proceedings.
Honorable Prime Ministers, Ministers, members of both delegations, friends of the media, we will now begin with the press statements. May I now request Shri Narendra Modi, Honorable Prime Minister of India, to make his press statements for the floor.
Your Excellency, Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Devbaji, distinguished delegates, मीडिया के साथी, नमस्कार। प्रधानमंत्री देवबा जी का भारत में स्वागत करते हुए मुझे बहुत प्रसन्नता हो रही है। आज भारतीय नववर्ष और नवरात्रि के पवित्र अवसर पर देवबा जी का शुभ आगमन हुआ है। मैं उनको और भारत और नेपाल के सभी नागरिकों को नवरात्र की बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। देवबा जी भारत के पुराने मित्र हैं। प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में ये उनकी 5वीं भारत यात्रा है। भारत नेपाल संबंधों के विकास में देवबा जी की महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका रही है। फ्रेंड्स, भारत और नेपाल की दोस्ती, हमारे लोगों के आपसी संबंध, ऐसी मिसाल विश्व में कहीं और देखने को नहीं मिलती। हमारी सभ्यता, हमारी संस्कृति, हमारे आदान प्रदान के धागे प्राचीन काल से जुड़े हुए हैं। अनादि काल से हम एक दूसरे के सुख दुख के साथी रहे हैं। हमारी पार्टनरशिप के आधार, उस आधार में हमारे लोगों के आपसी संबंध, उनके बीच आदान प्रदान है। ये हमारे संबंधों को ऊर्जा देते हैं, संबल देते हैं। और नेपाल के संबंध में भारत की नीतियां हमारे इसी आत्मीयता की भावना से प्रेरित रहते हैं। नेपाल की शांति, प्रगति और विकास की यात्रा में भारत एक दृढ़ साथी रहा है और हमेशा रहेगा। फ्रेंड्स, आज देवबा जी और मेरे बीच इन सब विषयों और कई अन्य महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दों पर भी सार्थक बातचीत हुई। हमने अपने सहयोग के विभिन्न पहलुओं पर चर्चा की, विभिन्न प्रोजेक्ट्स की प्रगति की समीक्षा की और भविष्य की रूपरेखा पर भी विचार विमर्श किया। हम दोनों सहमत हैं कि हमें पावर सेक्टर में सहयोग के अवसरों का पूरा लाभ उठाना चाहिए। हमारा जॉइंट विजन स्टेटमेंट ऑन पावर कॉर्पोरेशन भविष्य में सहयोग का ब्लूप्रिंट साबित होगा। हमने पंचेश्वर परियोजना में तेज गति से आगे बढ़ने के महत्व पर जोर दिया है। यह प्रोजेक्ट इस क्षेत्र के विकास के लिए एक गेम चेंजर सिद्ध होगा। हमने भारतीय कंपनियों द्वारा नेपाल के हाइड्रो पावर डेवलपमेंट योजनाओं में और अधिक भागीदारी के विषय पर भी सहमति व्यक्त की। यह प्रसन्नता का विषय है कि नेपाल अपने सरप्लस पावर भारत को निर्यात कर रहा है। इसका नेपाल की आर्थिक प्रगति में अच्छा योगदान रहेगा। मुझे बताते हुए हर्ष हो रहा है कि नेपाल से पावर आयात करने के कई और प्रस्तावों को भी स्वीकृत किया जा रहा है। मुझे इस बात की प्रसन्नता है कि नेपाल इंटरनेशनल सोलर अलायंस का सदस्य बन गया है। इससे हमारे क्षेत्र में सस्टेनेबल, अफोर्डेबल और क्लीन एनर्जी को बढ़ावा मिलेगा। फ्रेंड्स, प्रधानमंत्री देवबा जी और मैंने व्यापार और सभी प्रकार से क्रॉस बॉर्डर कनेक्टिविटी, उस इनिशिएटिव्स को प्राथमिकता देने पर भी सहमति जताई। जयनगर-कुर्था रेल लाइन की शुरुआत इसी का एक भाग है। दोनों देशों के लोगों के बीच सुगम, बाधा रहित आदान प्रदान के लिए ऐसी योजनाएं बेहतरीन योगदान देगी। नेपाल में रुपे कार्ड की शुरुआत हमारी फाइनेंशियल कनेक्टिविटी में एक नया अध्याय जोड़ेगी। अन्य प्रोजेक्ट्स जैसे नेपाल पुलिस एकेडमी, नेपालगंज में इंटीग्रेटेड चेक पोस्ट, रामायण सर्किट आदि भी दोनों देशों को और करीब लाएंगे। फ्रेंड्स, भारत और नेपाल के ओपन बॉर्डर्स का अवांछित तत्वों द्वारा दुरुपयोग न किया जाए, इस पर भी आज हमने चर्चा की। अपनी डिफेंस और सिक्योरिटी संस्थाओं के बीच गहन सहयोग बनाए रखने पर भी हमने बल दिया। मुझे विश्वास है कि आज की हमारी बातचीत भारत नेपाल संबंधों के भविष्य के लिए महत्वाकांक्षी लक्ष्य निर्धारित करने के लिए कारगर सिद्ध होगी। देवबा जी, आप कल काशी में होंगे। नेपाल और बनारस का सदियों पुराना संबंध रहा है। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि काशी के नए स्वरूप को देखकर आप जरूर प्रभावित होंगे। एक बार फिर आपका और आपके प्रतिनिधिमंडल का भारत में स्वागत है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir. May I now request His Excellency Mr. Sheikh Bahadur Deola, Prime Minister of Nepal, to make his statement in this.
I thank you, Prime Minister Shri Modi ji, for your kind words. I am touched by warm welcome and the generous hospitality extended to me and my delegation. I recall your landmark first visit to Nepal in 2014 and other subsequent visits which have helped nurture bond of friendship and cooperation between our two countries. I truly admire your love and affection to Nepal and Nepali people. My visit today further reinforce this innate sentiment. This is my first visit to India as Prime Minister of Nepal. This time I am particularly delighted to visit India, and especially here with Jayanagar-Kurtha also. We are also celebrating 75th year of colonization of Nepal-India diplomatic relations. I admire progress that India is making under the visionary leadership of Sri Modi. We have been India's effective management between 2019 and this is first vaccine from India, as well as medicine, medical equipment, and pandemic. For which I thank Prime Minister Modi and Committee. As Prime Minister Modi said, I need to fruitful discussion on this India and Nepal crisis, seeing our perspective of how the state of prioritize and who are looking. Separately, as we had delegation during our government to go overview of policies in all dimensions, political, economic, and social development. India and Nepal share age-old, time-tested, and multi-dimensional ties that covers all space of our interaction this year, including values, concerned issues, and civilization linkage, and similar mission in inclusive development. The relations between our two countries have been widened and deepened with passage of time. These relations have been enriched by close people to people. For Nepal, relations with India are highly important. We look upon tremendous economic transformation that India has achieved. We are eager to benefit from India's progress. So mutually beneficial economic partnership. Consequently, I remind an important part of our discussion. I and Prime Minister Modi jointly flagged inauguration of passenger service between Jayanagar-Kurtha railing today, which we constructed under the generous assistance to India. We also discussed about building a integrated checkpost and dry port in Jayanagar-Kurtha, agreed to early completion of all new local ICP departments and requested India the early commencement of construction of the ICP in Nepal. We also witnessed exchanges of MOU on technical cooperation in railway sectors. We both are confident that further connectivity project both railway and gain further momentum. Likewise, we have discussed cooperation in civil aviation. We have discussed Nepal's request. Additionally, we have instituted on Nepal through Mahindra Department of Development. I also requested for concurrence of airport flight operation to supply operationalize Gautam Buddha International Airport. A few weeks ago, India and Nepal signed 2 MOU on construction of water bridge in Hapchula, to India, over Mahakal River and other. And under supply urea DAP from India to Nepal on government basis. Our two sides are working on the early delivery of hundreds of 50,000 metric tons of chemical fertilizer for planting. Planting start. Bilateral trade between our two countries is growing. Discussed the way of what this is. In view of Nepal's high potential for hydroelectricity generation and export, it is important to have broad understanding in power export cooperation between our two countries. So cross-border power trade will remain a priority agenda during the discussion. I am happy that Nepal India joint vision statement of power sector cooperation that we have agreed upon mutual beneficial cooperation on hydroelectricity generation, transmission, I welcome Prime Minister Modi's offer to purchasing electricity from Nepal. We agreed to control the right trajectory which will facilitate operational real carbon transit, rapid Indian waterways across the road. We also announced today operational card in Nepal that will help promote the follow-up Indian tourists in Nepal. Water resources remains an important area. Cooperation between our two countries for mutual benefit. Prime Minister Modi and I discussed this aspect of cooperation of water resources. Inauguration and development in the power sector. We jointly inaugurated today 90 kilometers long, 120 initially solo operation like under the Indian line. We discussed about early completion, DPR condition, multi-purpose project. This will be milestone Nepal India cooperation and power group. India's cooperation has been heightened in Nepal. Nepal's health sector has been appreciated Prime Minister Modi's assistance for India to address COVID-19 pandemic, including vaccine, medical supply, and protection. Our discussion also covered updating the GP Corona National Center for Respiratory Diseases in Nepal and the GP Corona National Institute of Health Sciences. I extend my sincere appreciation to the Government of India for substantial support in our process like that. We are impressed by the infrastructure and to prove their post in districts of Nepal being restricted Indian air assistance. And as Prime Minister Modi assured me that from Germany to Iraq will be line and other areas also in India. Both of us agree that exchange of high level should be given help more mutual understanding. They also heard that Allah's is a very religious place for Hindus. Nepali people also they love to once in a lifetime visit to Jayanagar, visit to Vishwanath, and even in Nepal, they used to Kashi Bas, they used to Kashi before they die. They want to eliminate Kashi. Therefore, when I heard that, they made it very helpful, beautiful, and now I have heard it. Water also clean, they are not very clean. Thank you very much for introducing. It will not definitely very grateful that we would also like to visit on our Vishwanath on the for this also. People also quite also I'm glad to be many buildings I have seen there. Thank you for this also. There are still projects, still there are some small problems. I would like to request to build more house area. And as I would like to speak now that we discussed the boundary issues and I urged Modi to resolve through establishment of bilateral dialogue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency. That concludes the press statements. Thank you for joining us. Please remain seated as the 2 minutes leave.